I'll find peace and strength, leave the past behind me. Don't be alarmed, the dawn is almost here. I just want to sing sad songs till the break of dawn with the guitar rolling me. Clear night sky, firelight, my eye, demon, let me be. But he don't know I'll never let go of the ones who set me free. I just want to sing sad songs till the church bells tone, and I'll leave this devil behind me. Whoa, behind me.
Super excited to have you back here for episode 2 of Hope, Resilience, and Action. Again, this is 2 of 12. Every episode, we try to bring somebody to you who's dealt with different struggles in life and has come out the other end to inspire hope. So today we are blessed to have with us Jason Holterman. Jason is a veteran I came to know in the Green Bay area here. He is tenacious about veteran support community initiatives. Born in Green Bay native, went into service in 2006 with the Army, combat veteran. Married in 07, deployed right after that, then left the military in 09, came back to Wisconsin. He is now the proud father of 2 wonderful children, and married to an amazing wife as well. His story, I truly hope it inspires you. Wherever you're at, there is hope. And without further ado, Jason Holterman.
So, how's it going, everybody? Mike Aschinger, episode 2 of Resilience in Action. I want to introduce to you who I just got done speaking about, Jason. Jason, whoever. So, now it's a very crappy, snowy day here in Wisconsin, so I'm just glad that you made it here. It's not far. I saw you drove a nice blue truck, so that helps. The purpose of today's podcast is to try to just reach out to people who might be suffering and don't think that there's a possibility that they can get where you are. And I know where you are isn't perfect, just like where I am is not perfect. But I appreciate greatly the chance to talk to you. When I was in law enforcement, I had a friend who hit a dark patch. Like everything in life came to him at the same time. And it crushed him. Like everything you could name, like a country song, like dog died, wife left, all this stuff happened at once. And he fell down this really dark path. And part of that was being a shift worker, just working graveyards, messes with you big time. And me and another buddy had to do regular, basically we had to break into his house occasionally to make sure he was okay. And one of the most resilient stories in the world to me is like where he is now, kicking butt, doing great in life. And he went through that patch. And so when I was doing this podcast, this is my New Year's resolution to 12 episodes. I really wanted to get somebody who has inspired me, has gone through this place and come out the other end, because there's lots of people. We can talk about, you're a combat veteran, I'm a combat veteran. People have, the military has a bad culture of drinking too. A terrible culture of drinking. Like I was doing putting up all my little knickknacks and stuff. I'm like, man, I have a shot glass with the unit motto of like every unit that I was ever in. And a lot of times when we went TDY, so I was recruiting and retention for a while, and TDY was wild sometimes. And so I know they're trying to work on that culture, but for our veteran friends, a lot of those people, that's what gets,
Green Bay has a issue with that just culturally as it is. And then you pile on the military.
Yeah.
Everyone was always trying to outrank the kid from Wisconsin.
It's true. And by the way, it comes from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the 10 drunkest cities in, I think
8 of the 10 are in Wisconsin.
Yeah. And if you ever drive here at night, you can totally tell. Like, I don't even know how law enforcement around here decides who to stop.
I mean, that's shooting fish in a barrel for them.
It really is. We have like Green Bay crime reports, Brown County Scanner. I don't know if you watch that. But every morning you get a list of all the people that got arrested for drinking and driving. And there's a lot every morning. And you're OWI 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. It is a cultural thing here. And so anyways, enough blabbing. If you don't mind, just telling your story, wherever it starts and wherever it ends. But how did things get dark for you?
So, coming back from my first deployment, I was seeking help, just someone to talk to, and it wasn't there. For the however many thousand soldiers coming back, there were 3 counselors.
Where was your first deployment, if you don't mind me?
Baghdad.
Baghdad?
It's at Fob Restamaya for most of it.
Restamaya. Is that where the Saddam's palace was? Oh, okay.
I was just there.
Restamaya. And you were a mechanic too,
Yeah.
right? What stuff were you working on there?
Just everything.
Okay.
And I was really good, so anything that came in that needed an engine swap, I was almost guaranteed to be on it.
Oh, dude, you're swapping engines, huh?
I did a swap in 2 days. It was 2 days straight. They brought my meals to me, fed me, because I was head to toe. But 2 days straight, I got the head engine replaced.
By the way, for everybody out there, a head is something you won't see on the roads in the U.S. for the most part. It's a gigantic truck that hauls tanks. Everything that we have that's heavy that goes on the road, it's on heads. I'm an old truck driver in the military, so I have a lot of friends who drove heads, and I can't imagine swapping that engine. What is the engine there, like a 20?
I mean, it's not that, but the cab, you had to remove the whole cab, and it was so armored that the only crane we had was on one of those mobile units, so it wasn't that big of a crane. We actually had to have like 10 guys on the opposite side of that mobile unit counterweight. Jeez, because it was like teetering that much, and I was the crazy guy that was on the cab gathering up all the hoses and everything to bring them through the doghouse as it was being lowered.
By the way, as a former sergeant major, that sounds very unsafe.
You got to get the job done.
All right, so Rustamaya, again, and you were guard here, right?
No, because I got when I came back, we had an interim first sergeant, and he was really upset because the chain of command over there, they went down on embezzlement charges, and he saw it as a huge stain. So he was like, I got to clean up this unit. And like, he bled green. And he gave our company a piss test the day before block leave, and I failed that. Yeah, I had smoked the night before because I was having a hard time getting to sleep. And I was like, well, this always worked before. And I was like, okay, if I can do it now, and I'll clean up my piss before, I just need to get through tonight. And the day before block leave, and this is just as Obama's coming in, and one of the first things he did was 0 tolerance across the board. And none of my sergeants could, they went up the flagpole. One of my sergeants in particular, he, probably held back his career a little bit until he left that base because he made some enemies going up the flagpole trying to keep me in. I came back to Green Bay, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do drugs. I'm disappointed in my family and friends enough. So I just went to the acceptable thing, and I kept drinking.
Number one, that 0 tolerance thing, taking leaders, taking their ability to help people change, get better, get over stuff, that kills them.
That was my first offense too.
That's insane. And you were
It was E4.
That kills me. It'd be one thing, like in E9, kind of funny story, because I'm from Portland, Oregon, so I'm a West Coast kid. I did not drink as a young kid, but I might have dabbled in some marijuana as a younger kid. A lot, because that's what we did in Portland, Oregon. Told the Army everything about it. But I remember, there was times where people would go through stuff in the military and people could get interventions, get help, and they came through awesome on the other side. We shoot ourselves in the foot by getting rid of the world's best mechanic because of one indiscretion. Just miserable. As an E9, I get it. Probably don't want your sergeant major. And at that point, they've been in for 20 plus years, and they're getting close to retiring. probably zero tolerance. I kind of understand, but especially in younger groups, people that are coming up, my goodness, I got a second chance. I got kicked out of the Army in '01, unsatisfactory participant. I got put in the IRR to think about what I did. And in '03, '04, I got pulled out of the IRR into Iraq, my first tour. Thank goodness I got that second chance in my life, because I was going nowhere good, man. I was homeless for a spell. And yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
So go with it. Like, how does it get dark?
I got a job as a mechanic, and like I didn't realize how dark it was because I always just, washed it down with brown. You can just drink on top of it and go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, drink. The wife didn't see it as a problem because, I kept my steady job. But like more and more, like I wasn't able to necessarily afford my alcohol. Like I was, but like we were cutting other things out. And so when my bar tab got so much, I was like, well, I got to do something else. And I ended up finding a job at a brewery, and that kind of took care of that. And it, like my drinking was very acceptable. It was easier to hide because that was my job.
So were you, could you drink on the job there?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I would go in, it didn't matter what time of day, and like I was my own boss. As long as stuff got done, nothing was said to me. And it was very highly functioning. Like I'd go in sometimes at 3:00 in the morning. First thing I did was pour myself a beer and get to work. I'd go in the morning, whenever. I went in when it would fit my schedule, and everything got done. I was really good at what I did.
That's nuts. I don't think I'm as capable, or I don't think I have that capability in me, knowing myself, to be able to actually do work. Like my whole life, I've had a never drive after 2 drinks thing. 2 drinks has always been my maximum. I kind of put that down to 1 drink just because I don't trust myself, So the fact that you were able to work, and
that's very, very reckless. And like, so I'd keep pretty even keel, like steady beer drinking. But then like when I was off, that's when I'd put the foot down to the accelerator and just drink toward that oblivion, because that was my off time. And I was very, very reckless. I crashed my moped because I couldn't walk, but I got on that moped and I was driving, and it was right on Main Street. Like I was very reckless, and it didn't really dawn on me until like I had an awakening, an epiphany. I was like, I can't do this to myself. I can't do this to my family anymore.
So on that note, if you don't mind, and I didn't say thank you for your service to me, but thank you for your service. And again, every time I get out and I'm like make it a point to go out and do something to help out in the local veterans community, like you're already there. And so I appreciate that about you. I know sometimes it's a bit much. But during that time, is there any stories you can share, like the darkest times, things that stick out to you as when it really was getting to rock bottom?
I never hit that rock bottom. And like when I was drinking, I didn't see it as bad times. I didn't see the dark times. The dark times didn't come in until I took that drinking and tried to stop drinking all the problems away, because then I had all these issues and problems that I didn't deal with coming through, and I didn't understand them. So that's when, prior to me quitting drinking, it was dark times for my family, because they were terrified of my reckless behavior. And I would be very emotionally abusive to my wife. Nothing she did was good enough. I'd yell at her over small, stupid things. I mean, that's a very common thing to happen in our community, where the spouse ends up being an emotional punching bag because we don't understand our own feelings. So it ends up coming out for them, sadly.
I've had another one of my best buddies. I don't, you know, all those people you don't ever talk to, even though they mean a lot to you, and like once a year you remember to dial them up. And another one of my best buddies recently went through it, and he didn't have a reversal enroll until it impacted his health greatly. That was one of the things he told me, is he was being terrible to his family. Like he was yelling, abusive, like nonstop terrible to family. And he also told me he didn't notice that he was being that way. Like, and what you mentioned, yeah, so your family was the one that really suffered.
Then I've been diagnosed as bipolar. So when I'd be in an extreme high, and in bipolar, you're either extremely high or extremely low. There isn't really a whole lot in between.
Right.
And so when I was really high, like it was amazing. Everyone loved being around me. I was, the center of the party. And then when I hit that low, that's when the sad drink was. And sadly, my wife was the one that saw the lows more than anyone else. She really got the brunt of a lot of that. She's an amazing, amazing person for sticking it out with me.
Dude, you have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
And pictures look really happy. I'm sure there's some truth to that. I know. I remember in 2015, I did a reunion with my first two in Iraq. It really hit me hard. I was doing pretty well. I was pretty successful in life. And it really hit me hard seeing how many people from my unit, some of them that were really struggling, some of them that this kind of survivor skill kicked in. And when I went off, like, quote unquote, the rails, as I'll call it, is I just out of the blue wanted to run away from everything, like responsibilities, everything. And dude, I moved my family to Utah. Like we moved from Iowa to Utah, got a new job, left my some success of the job I was in. And I didn't realize I was doing it. Mm-hmm. Then about half a year later, I realized, oh crap, I'm hiding from everything right now.
I almost bought a house in Kewanee and moved my family there. And that was right after I signed a lease on that shiny blue truck that, good golly, if I was in my right frame of mind, I never would have done that.
Yeah.
Like we can barely afford it, but we can afford it, but it's such an expense that doesn't make sense in hindsight. And that's that, riding that high.
Yeah. And it's avoidant too, doesn't it? It's very easy to avoid difficult things. We're both combat veterans. We have plenty of stuff that it's a lot easier to avoid than to talk about. And
especially at 2 a.m. when you like just pop awake, that's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not getting sleep the rest of the night.
Yep. Look, if you know a veteran and help them monitor their sleep, man, and be honest, and get them the sleep. Sleep sucks. I still struggle with sleep. Sleep is not an easy thing, and it never will be. I've kind of accepted that. I'm with you. There'll be like a night where I'll go to lay down and, getting ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden, tinnitus is getting in behind you. I almost sleep better with a TV on because
I have to. I can't sleep without the television, or at least that noise, because I'll hear every little noise. Yeah. And unless I have that constant droning noise to block all the other noise, I can't.
No, and I'm also here to tell you, if you're a criminal watching this, my house is a terrible place to try to come after at night, because I'm going to hear you and I am ready. Okay.
Well, I still hear everything, like, anything happens in the house.
Yeah.
You're even over that. But it's the stuff outside of the house that helps drown out.
Yeah. We've got bunny rabbits that at night will occasionally jump around in their cage, and I'm like terrorist. So, okay. Been through where it got dark. How the hell did you figure out that you were going to change things? Like, how does this happen? Because I know a lot of people, that's where they kind of sit. That's their equilibrium is, man, I probably need to make a change. I have no idea how, and like, what pushes you there? How did you get there?
I just woke up and had an epiphany one morning where I was like, it kind of all hit me what I was putting my family through and everything. I was like, came to tears, and like I was like, okay, I need to make a change. And I also had my counselor, our marriage counselor, was telling me, okay, you want to quit drinking? I know how much you're drinking, because I was always honest about it. Like, yes, I'm an open book. I'm honest. But she was like, you might not want to just quit drinking. There might be health side effects to that. And so, like, I was working toward. First, I was working toward like textbook when you're not an alcoholic, 1 to 2 drinks, 2 to 3 times a week. And so I set that as my benchmark, and I get that, but like I couldn't understand all the stuff that I was going through, and I was misfiring everywhere. And it was around that time that
So it didn't get better; it got worse.
it got worse. It got worse when I made the decision to stop drinking, because I didn't hit the rock bottom when I was drinking.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this is gonna go to rock bottom. That's the only path that this goes down, because I'm continuing to everything. Like, I have to drink more and more and more. So like, I was like, this only ends bad. I feel fortunate that I was able to come to that decision before it got bad, because that doesn't happen very often.
No. Most people that I know have to really hit a point.
Yeah.
Whether their health or
I was nowhere near rock bottom. I had house, wife, 2 kids. Everyone was happy except for the wife, because it was not the best. And I don't know. I still struggle with what I put her through. Now that's one of my biggest hurdles, to forgive myself.
that's the universal difficult thing.
But as I was struggling with all the stuff that I didn't understand, that I'd been drinking away for about 15 years, I was starting to surrender to the fact that I needed medication to help me. So I was seeing a psychiatrist at the VA. I was like, I give up. I can't do this by myself. I need medication. And during one of our conversations, I was like, well, I'm going to go to school. I want to tackle this ADHD. And so she prescribed me methylphenidate. And it did not sit well with me. It kicked my manic episodes into overdrive, and I was everywhere. And I had, at this point, I was barely drinking. Like, I was drinking less than 1 to 2 drinks, because that methylphenidate was like amazing. I wasn't abusing it, but I didn't have to, because it was just amazing of a feeling and everything. But I ended up having an intervention in my house. I came home, and all my friends and family were sitting in my living room, and I was like, oh, wait, what's going on? And they were all like, something has to happen. It's not, you're drinking, you're not on drugs, but we're terrified for you. It's like, at the height of my drinking, no one batted an eye about go to quit drinking, and then they're like, what's going on? Then the vet center helped me get in touch with, and they were in the middle of like everyone changing. All the counselors were switching over, and so it's a hard time just getting counselors switched over, and like this is all like perfect storm Bruin type thing. And they suggested that I go to a rehab facility in Illinois, which is really weird, because I wasn't having a problem not drinking or not doing drugs. I was having a problem
with prescription medication.
That had stopped about 2 months prior. The methylphenidate, because my psychiatrist was even able to see like, oh, this isn't good.
Good.
I came into her office, and at the time, the superintendent was getting let go, and there was a big race thing going on or something like that. I called some radio station. Anyway, I was on hold with the Reverend Al Sharpton on his podcast or something that was streaming live, and I walk into her office, and I was like, "Hold on, I'm on the phone with Al Sharpton," and she's just like, we need to stop your medication now."
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was everywhere. I was running 100 miles an hour, 24 hours a day. Like, if I would sleep, it would be for an hour or two.
I I remember we were doing so many sidewalk together, and you gave me a little bit of this backstory, and dude, what a crappy thing! Like you were like, all right, I'm gonna slow down on drinking, and next thing you've got this new substance that shows up that turns it up to 11, and still doesn't help deal with the real underlying issues. VA. I'm not dogging the VA. Like a lot of people dog the VA. I try not to because,
Well, they are there and they are a good resource. It's like anything. Like, there's good and there's bad.
no, and they try to medicate everything away pretty quick.
Well, not only that, so something I found out, at least for the VA here, the people that are the psychiatrists that you're seeing, like, they're more or less in school. That's their internship.
Yeah.
And they get cycled every 2 years. So every year and a half to 2 years, you're seeing someone new, and they only know, oh, this is the history. You can't build that relationship with them, and that's really hard for veterans who already have such a hard time to trust.
Dude, and we cycle every 2 years in the Army. We cycle the new commands. We have to make new friends. We have to meet new people, like, constantly. And it is tough, and it carries through. Like, I get some crap from people in the real world that I've moved so much in my life, but to me, it's just a natural extension of what I'm used to with the Army. Like, go. Everybody doesn't just leave their job every 2 years and go to a new job. What the heck? That's something. And the VA, my goodness. I've had therapists there who were awesome, like you said. I've had some who were like, "Oh no, you're fine." I'm like, well, I'm having a bad week. I'm here to talk about it. Oh, that's not really a bad week. Other people have had worse weeks. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Okay, I get that. I get that I'm not in the worst place in the world, but I'm here to kind of talk through this. And I try to take my own medicine. I work with veterans, and I always try to talk them into getting some sort of help and talking to therapists. And so I try to take my own medicine. But when you get that wrong one, it's really hard.
But right now, I have a real good one. Her big thing is she wants you on the least amount of medication to maximize your potential. Like, and she's like, before she adds something, she'll take something away, and only one change at a time. It's a long road to figure out what your cocktail is.
Yeah. Well, that's different. I remember the VA just throwing, there was this drug, I was having sleeping problems, 2015, and I had that kind of night terrors thing going on a little bit, I had the 2 a.m. wake ups, like, oh, there's this drug, Presence, and they're like, this is a great drug, and they're like, don't just take one, like, take 3 at night. So okay, take like 3, darn near pass out trying to get out of bed to go to the bathroom at night, because it turns out it just wicked lowers your blood pressure. And I've always had a slow heart rate and everything, so it killed me. Then that was like the 4th random thing, but I've noticed the VA nowadays is doing that. They're starting to dial back and try to really come up with what you need and what is helpful.
So I think the big thing there is they realized that they were overprescribing. Like, me getting prescribed methylphenidate, like, that wasn't an uncommon thing, and it's a big stimulant. Like, it is. I prior to being in the military, I tried coke, and it was like that, but like, since you were taking it and it was prescribed, it was like pretty constant. Like,
Wow.
Like, it's.
How was your sleep then?
No, that's when I was getting like hour or 2 maybe. Jeez. Like, I was up writing tight. Like, I always constant like epiphanies and ideas, and I'm solving all the world's problems. Going to school board meetings, I was riding my bicycle everywhere, and I was all over the place, like all over the place.
Yeah, it sounds like me when I was campaigning for Ralph Nader in 1999. It's really big. Don't be a Nader hater. Yeah. That's my slogan.
Third party all the way.
I'm a third party guy. Like, not to get all.
We need more choice.
Yeah, more choice. You heard that, team. Anyways, okay. So, but by the way, amazing story. Like the fact that there's so many twists and turns there, and then you end up at this facility in Illinois, and I took the conversation a loop. So
That place was like I have some good takeaways from it, but it was not the place for me. Like there were severe addicts there, and like I never related to the addict. Like I still have a hard time with the thought or the title of alcoholic, because an alcoholic has a hard time stopping.
yeah,
When I made the decision to stop, I just stopped. And, you know, like hearing people that were alcoholics talk made me more like steadfast. I was like, I cannot relate to any of you. And what I needed a mental health facility. And they had this thing called dual diagnostic, where you're an addict and the underlying mental problem that caused you to that. But like the facility itself, and I'm not going to name the facility because I don't have nice things to say about the facility. And like it was just not the best place for me to have gone. And like for a while after, like it did a little more harm than good. Like it was like the military. I joined the military to straighten myself up, and like it did good, but there was this other thing.
yeah.
And so that rehab facility was a lot like that. And like there were, especially in detox, which like I went there stone sober, and I found out that nobody does that. And so like a lot of people need to sit in detox for a week. I was told that I wouldn't have to sit in detox because I was sober already. And I was like, well, if I'm sober, why? And so I went there, and that detox was just insane. Like there were people having hallucinations, and there were people that bringing drugs in, and like, oh, when you get out, you're like expecting you to watch out and go out and see them as a hookup. And I was just like, this is just wild. They give you soap that says maximum security penitentiary, and it was an all-in-one shower, shave, shampoo. It said maximum security prison on it. I was like, what did I just get myself into?
That's not good for the psychology of the place.
No. So that's how you're introduced to this place. So like I had this prison mindset. And I don't know what prison is like. I've never went. I've always rode the line between legal and illegal, and never got myself into any jail time or anything like that. But so like with that prison mentality, one of the first things I did is started a physical altercation with who I thought was the alpha male.
Dude, no kidding. Like in the movies.
Yeah. That's all I knew of it. I was like, this is a fucked up place. I better start a fight.
Jeez.
It didn't get physical, but like he wanted to kick my ass.
Jeez. That seems very antithetical to getting help.
Yeah.
But
I got out of there, and like I was still kind of up and down, and I was starting to find a mixture of medications through the VA to level me out. And so like this is real high, this is real low. Like right in the middle is where we're shooting.
Yeah.
And even right now, like this is, a 5 out of 10. And I float between a 3 and a 4. So like I'm leveled out. I don't have to worry about the extreme highs or the like dark, I don't want to be here. But like, it's still just like, hard to pull out of that depression and do anything.
Yeah, well, I am going to force you to go do some hiking with me now. I know you're interested because that's one of the things I use that for. I mean, and I'll be honest, this crap outside, for those of you who aren't in the Green Bay area, we have like 40 feet of snow or something right now outside. And it's been cold and finally snowy. It was cold and dreary. It was no snow all year, which to me was even more depressing. When it's like extremely cold and there's no snow.
Oh yeah.
Everything looks dead. But the snow gets to me a bit because I was wanting to go hiking this weekend, and I'm like, oh, I can't.
The snow is almost an insulator too. So when you're out there, like the cold kind of absorbs into the snow. If there isn't that snow, it's going to absorb to you.
Yeah. So the most important one that I ask is, your story is amazing. You've come out on this side. Is there anything more to tell, by the way, between facility and now?
No, my wife has just been a rock star and amazing. Through all this, she's been in college and working and supporting our kids. And like, I don't know how a single person could have done what she did and maintain high honors throughout college and gone through all this stuff. Like, it amazes me. She is truly, like, if it weren't for her, definitely would be a statistic right now.
Yeah, combat veterans wise, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Sometimes I look at my wife, kind of sucks. It's like, I try to stay involved and probably do too much like you do with the community as well. And then I try to give my kids all this maximum time and as you're doing with your family. But then I also, man, you do so much. My wife is like, she does everything. And it doesn't seem fair sometimes. Like, putting kids to bed. I'll always be like, hey, let me go put the kids to bed. But the kids really want to put them to bed, man. Come on. So, like, she
try to put them to bed, but then they get back up. So that mom can.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't give me a hug or kiss yet. Yeah. That's the exact same thing at this house. My favorite part of this thing is if you're talking to yourself out there, because there's lots of yous and there's lots of me's out there. If you're talking to yourself out there and you're stuck in any of the places that you've been, what kind of advice do you have for them? Particularly our veteran teams, but non-veterans out there are dealing with some of the same stuff we do.
Right now, the biggest thing that's helping me is like taking a small bite every day. Like this past year, just getting myself motivated enough to shower, like wash my stank ass, was huge. Like, and just do the things you don't want to do, and eventually you'll want to do them.
You heard it. Do the things you don't want to do. I have, on that note, your advice. When things were getting hard with work and I'm getting stressed, I caught myself kind of taking it easy on fitness, which for me was a big part of my life. Now, I'll be honest, when I retired from the Army, it was like a get out of jail free card, and I don't want to be up at 5 a.m. anymore because it sucked forever. But I remember who I was listening to. I think it was Goggins. Goggins' book got me kind of fired up when I was doing the ruck for suicide prevention fundraiser. Yeah. So I was doing that ruck for suicide prevention. I needed some motivation listening to the Goggins book. And he's like, why aren't you waking up early? Like, so I've done a thing now. I force myself at 5 a.m. weekdays. I kick my legs out of bed at 5. It sucks every day, and it makes everything better. And just Friday this week was a tough week with all the weird stuff going on. I'm in federal government service to a point. I don't work for the feds direct, but I contract for them. It's been an interesting month. So Friday I was like, always piling up. I'm just going to hit the snooze button. Dude, and the entire day sucked because I didn't like assert control over myself at that first thing at 5 a.m. thing. So I agree. When I do that much, kick my legs out of bed even when I don't want to, it's like that mini victory over myself, no matter what else happens. Then I can slack. My workout doesn't have to be amazing, but the fact that I get out there and do it, it makes the whole rest of the day better. just asserting a little bit of control.
For me, even now, like I've been struggling with doing things that I know I enjoy, like playing guitar, or I like painting. Just bringing myself to do those things has been difficult. Like, it's like, oh, if I paint, I have to do this, I have to do this, and it's just easier not to do it.
Yeah.
But like, I set a goal to paint at least once a week, a goal to play guitar at least once a week, whether I want to do it or not, force myself to do even the things that I know I like doing.
That's part of why I became a little bit of a social media whore, is it forces me. So I'll try to learn a new song in the guitar or something. I have to remind myself, oh, I got to put a short up. I got to put a reel up or something. And that actually has been a very positive reinforcement to me, just picking the guitar up and playing. And I'm with you on that. It is so hard sometimes to separate yourself from everything and pick up the guitar, because there's so much that needs done around here. And there's so much that needs fixed, and there's so much that needs cleaned. And it might be selfish if I go pick the guitar up for an hour, and kids need hugs and stuff. But yeah, I feel that. But it is something you got to force yourself to do. And your mental health, for me, my mental health is completely dependent on the fact that I do some of that science, that I take care of myself. I'm a bit of an artsy guy like yourself. So if I don't do my art, I struggle greatly. So
Another one of the things that I've been struggling with, I still don't want to wrap my head around, is like the direction that I'm going to go. I'm turning 40 usually next week during the BFW Christmas party.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll be 40. So like that's likely like midway.
Yeah.
And so the whole, what do I do with the second chapter? Fucked up a lot of the first chapter, so I don't want to do that for the second chapter. Which direction do I go? What's going to give the second chapter purpose? So I'm in between crossroads, and it's good, but it's scary.
No, we're close in age. I don't know how you have such a gorgeous, like, full veteran beard, by the way, which I'm very jealous of, because did you see me when I tried to grow a beard? So when I retired, I was embarrassed to walk around because my beard looks so terrible. It's like this straight, just goes straight down, no curl, nothing.
It's laziness.
Oh, no, that
Laziness to grow it.
No, that's a vet beard. I'm jealous. And you don't chock full of gray hair like I am. I'm only a couple of years older than you. So.
I got a couple of them in there.
Yeah. Well, good. It goes quick. When I grew my beard out, it was like shock white. I mean, and everybody at work is like, dude, you look 20 years older. So I am jealous of the awesome veteran beard, man. I tried it, can't do it. I retired in 2023 and ran exactly what you're talking about. Like the day I retired, I'm like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's game time, baby. I could go try to be a rock star, or I could I don't know, I could just be a dad and just be a dad.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just being a dad, and it's pretty good.
Awesome. Anything in particular? I mean, this is where we live in Green Bay, but anything in particular beyond any helpful agencies, anything you'd like to give a shout out to while we're here? I'll put links up to.
So they just changed their name, the Wellness Cooperative.
Wellness Cooperative.
They've been more than amazing. I got in touch with them through the Brown County Veteran Service Office, which Melissa Young there has helped me tremendously. Just in understanding the VA and the benefits and what I qualify for. But she turned me on to the Wellness Command Post.
Okay.
Then Fourth Hua, because they're just beyond amazing for our community. Everything that they do in touch.
Yeah. No. I don't remember. I think it was Ken that turned me on to Fourth Hua, because I'm not from the Green Bay area, so I wasn't very well connected locally. So I'm running the fundraiser for a national firm. I'm big into the science of it. I still, to this day, love what Stop Soldier Suicide is doing with electronics of people that have committed suicide. It seems silly, but it's a wonderful way to figure out predictive what type of behavior is truly predictive of a person that is about to commit suicide. And so I was doing a fundraiser for them, and Ken was the one that turned me on to Fourth Hua, and got on their website the first time. I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing, truly amazing.
So it's Hua, Wisconsin now.
Oh, Hua, Wisconsin. Okay.
Name changes.
Oh, Hua, Wisconsin. Yeah. But cool. Brother, I got nothing else. I think you're in a stellar example.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, it's been good to have you. You're a stellar example of what anybody who's out there struggling can become.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, and dude, good luck driving back home in this gym.
It's easy.
Behind me. Behind. I just want to sing sad songs till the church bells tone, and I leave this devil behind.